get real, child. Let's get real.
Hi, thank you for being with me today. I hope you'll enjoy the show and stay with it. We've got an exciting guest today, a different kind of candidate running in Texas Congressional District number 32. And she's new to politics, but has had a lot of experience in what's really critical, which is counseling and negotiating and working with people. So I'm honored to have Aimee Carrasco on today to talk about her positions, and we can share some. She loves my program to make the world carbon negative while we still use oil and gas, a quality way of life that really defeats the Green New Deal, which talks about sacrifices and stupid stuff like demanding that we quit using natural gas for cooking and heating hot water and so many other issues. So please enjoy hearing from Aimee Carrasco.
Thank you, David. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for taking the time to speak with me today.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting to hear people entering politics from a different perspective and not coming from the lawyer side.
Yeah. And I think, what brought me to this place that I'm in now is I've just spent so many years, decades, going to communities and talking to people and spending time, meeting with parents and working with children and college students. And there's very similar concerns across the board, right? No matter who you're talking to. I think no matter how much money you make each day or each year, everybody's concerned about the cost of things. But what I was concerned about when I was talking to people is they didn't feel that their voices were heard. They're not the individuals. These members of the community are not the people that are showing up at political meetings or showing up at, school board meetings because they don't feel welcomed or they don't feel like their voices are valuable enough to be heard. And so it became a real commitment of mine to bring their voices to where it needs to go, to legislators, to DC, to our state level government, to really share their concerns and how they're navigating everything currently.
Well, that's really noble. And I think, it's an interesting perspective to come from a counseling background and an interactive background as opposed to, in many cases, a candidate has been in a confrontational environment.
Right. No, and one of the things I like to say is like anytime I've ever had a question about something, anytime I had a concern, I went to the community, to the problem, to the concern. So years ago when we were hearing about the unsecure border, I went to the border because I wanted to hear for myself. I wanted to see for myself. I wanted to talk to the children. When we had the withdrawal from Afghanistan and we ended up with so many individuals here, I went to the children that were flown here and talk to them about their experience and their needs and how the withdrawal happened and where their families were. When we hear about, the high cost of interest rates and the struggle for food and the whole, make America healthy again. And we're worried about the health of our children, right? And so talking to the families and what their concerns are and what they're worried about. I think these are valuable voices that need to be heard.
Well, and, talking about the food, my climate program, by remineralizing the soil, really makes better food for all of us. And we have a problem in this country with demineralized food and food with a lot of fake additives and too many carbohydrates and all these other things. And we have a hidden hunger in people that is seeking nutrition, so they eat more.
Right.
But the food is devoid of nutrition, so all they get is calories, not the vitamins and minerals they need. So by adding basalt rock dust to the soil, we can revitalize the soil microbes to make those nutrients available and really revitalize the land. And one of the interesting things is that magnetism plays a huge role in our world in unknown ways. And basalt rock dust has the property of what's called paramagnetism, high paramagnetism, which alters a magnetic field and is shown to help plants. So it's kind of a hidden boost that can increase photosynthesis, which increases carbon sequestration and lowers the carbon dioxide level in the air. So that's something I'm real excited about. I'm glad you're enthusiastic about it. I think it's a real winner for your district that's partly agriculture to have better agricultural production and more sustainable plants, healthy plants that are mineral rich, resist insects and disease better.
No, it sounds like it also like it benefits in multiple ways, right?
And it benefits the community by having better food.
Right, absolutely. So more nutrient dense food. I would imagine it also increases the rate of growth. So are they able to grow plants at a more rapid rate?
Yeah, no, the growth rate can be dramatically better. I literally tripled the growth on my ranch by adding trace elements to the soil.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I went from clover being 18 inches high to clover being 5 feet high.
That's amazing. And I know that you talk a lot about the prairie grass as well,
Yeah.
and the importance of that, not only for the climate, right, and the climate change and to help with the CO2, and but also it can be very, very healthy for like cattle to graze on.
Exactly, yes. Going back to rotational grazing, managing the grass is better, but ranchers need to be rewarded for that. And our current structure has been kind of punishing cattlemen in a way. And of course, the weather has been a factor. But
Right.
if we add minerals to the soil and if we add biochar to the soil, that increases water storage and serves as a sink for nutrients instead of them leaching away. People buy fertilizer and much of the fertilizer washes away.
Right, right.
So adding biochar serves as a trap to hold the nutrients in the soil so the plants can extract it later.
And then what would that look like as far as like long term? So is this something that has to be they would have to do on a schedule, like a regular basis?
Biochar is a long-term soil additive that lasts for up to 1,000, 2,000 years.
Okay.
So once you put it on the land, it's there. It changes the soil. In Central America, they call it terra petra, which is black soil. And the ancient Central American people made it by burning things in an oxygen deficient fire to make biochar, and put it on the land and turn the kind of clay, light colored soil into dark soil. And the soil is so productive, and the microbes thrive in it so much that you can literally mine it. People in Central America dig the stuff up from the ancient growing areas and use it for potting soil.
That's fascinating.
But it kind of regrows.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, soil, just the microbes live in it so much that they convert to more. Anyway, biochar is wonderful. You can go online and read about it. I recommend people who are gardeners get something put in their yard. You can go to rockdustlocal.com and get they sell mail order basalt rock dust for gardens and small plantings. They also sell large quantities to ranchers and farmers.
Oh, that's great.
So Rock Dust Local is a good resource, and it's great that you're an advocate for sensible policies. What are some of the other things that you're really passionate about wanting to bring to your district?
Yeah. So really, I mean, being a counselor and being a mom of 5, and, like I'm really about the people and our children, but also our veteran and military community. So I served in the Marine Corps. My father was a Marine as well. Our son currently serves in the 82nd Airborne Division with the U.S. Army, and my husband's a retired Green Beret. So
wow, you are a real patriot.
So I am. We believe in service, right? We believe in service, and I have, being a counselor and working intimately with so many military families over the past 15 to 20 years, not just the service members that have been in many instances traumatically injured, but also the spouses and the children. Because when you have a veteran that has had a catastrophic injury, it impacts the whole family. Absolutely. And we talk about the economic impact of that and the struggle with the VA and veterans not being able to get the care that they need. They're limited on the number of sessions, or limited on the amount of time it takes to get in. So, those two areas are really, like, children, families, military, veterans are really areas that I'm incredibly passionate about.
Well, and the destruction of this war on terrorism,
yes,
on the patriotic, super patriotic men that joined the Army,
yes,
many of them after 9/11, I've got to go help fight.
They're fighting for a country they believe in, right?
They're fighting for a country they believe in, a philosophy they believe in. But sadly, the whole philosophy of regime change in the Middle East has really failed, and it's cost us so much money that I'm a believer that military action oftentimes has unintended consequences,
Collateral damage.
and can make things worse. And the Middle East is a much worse place now than it was in 2000.
When it impacted our society, like our community, and with every all the sacrifices that were made, right, within our nation. But then there's people in other countries, and and speaking with like interpreters that supported our military troops over there, and so there was just a lot of collateral damage, I think, across the board. And
the arrogance of trying to go into Afghanistan and reform the society and change it fundamentally from a tradition it had for thousands of years, and not invest in things that were sensible. And sadly, opium production went up with U.S. occupation.
Yeah, no, I think
and
that
opium is of course, there's a legitimate use for some opium in medicine, but much of it goes into the illegal drug trade. And I literally saw pictures of opium fields from a photojournalist who went into a freelance inside Afghanistan and took pictures. They were huge fields, could have easily been knocked out, but instead we rewarded that production because in some ways America doesn't want drug addiction to go away.
and that's
a very big concern. I'm very concerned about the fact that people feel so hopeless because they hear such a negative message that they seek out mood-altering drugs,
right.
both pharmaceutical and illegal.
Right. And I think within that world, I think there's always going to be a place and individuals that need, the different drugs or treatments that are legal and are readily available that doctors prescribe here in the U.S., right? I think one of my initiatives also is to get more information out about alternative treatment methods. So, you've had transcranial magnetic stimulation, which can be an option for some veterans. There's some great research going on about the hyperbaric oxygen chambers, the HBOT. And so that's another great research area. Texas just signed $100 million, they're investing in research for Ibogaine, which is a psychedelic that's not currently legal here in the United States, but it's had some incredibly positive impacts on service members, veterans, and other individuals too, not just service members and veterans. So they're researching on opioid addictions because it can actually help people not go through the withdrawal process. It's shown some, positive impact on suicidality, major depression, alcoholism. And so I think there's an opportunity for us as a nation to do that research. And Texas is one of the first that was on board, if not the first, that was on board with saying, hey, we need to look into this because people deserve to have choice. They deserve to work with the people that they trust to make those decisions.
Yeah. Well, I think, I'm very positive about you offering a different approach to politics with real good family values and the great sense of let's make this society work for all, and let's get the government rein it in,
Yes.
and not have runaway spending, and really sit down and talk about things and get things done.
Absolutely.
Instead of just churning around sound bites and accomplishing nothing.
Right. Well, because it's not about us as, representatives or, whoever's a leader in a community or even leader in a nation. It's really like our job is to serve the people. As a counselor, that's been my job for decades, right? Is to hear what somebody is navigating and to help them determine their own solution, and then to help connect them with those resources to get to that solution. And so I kind of see being a representative in the same way, right? It's my job to hear the people's concerns. It's my job to maybe help them find the different resources and connect them to it, but also to bring those concerns, right? To help write bills, to help support bills, to help vote on bills that are going to be beneficial for the community. That's the largest majority of the people that we have, right? Are the people that are not at the political meetings, the people that are not at the school board meetings.
Yeah.
When I work with people, they don't feel comfortable. So when I work with some families, for example, I can work with families who maybe they feel like there's too many cultural differences, or maybe there's language barriers, or maybe there's just economic differences, right? And they don't feel comfortable going in and asking questions or, allowing people to hear their voice.
I think the unique skill set that you bring to the political process is being able to listen.
Yeah.
In terms of, I have a hard time listening. Many times I've got a lot of thoughts in my head and I kind of think I know it all. But the truth is, listening really resonates with people and makes them feel empowered. Right. And so I hope that you'll have a lot of town halls and really make that a hallmark of your career if you succeed in winning the primary. So I hope everybody will go to her website and give her a donation.
Yes.
And it takes money to win. She's running against some deep-pocketed individuals who have the resources personally to make a bigger push. So she needs your support. And we're going to do what we can with this show to promote you.
Well, thank you.
And
thank you.
I like the idea of having a listener in office as opposed to a talker.
Well, I think one of the lessons that I remind myself over and over again is that, and we've heard it, right? Other people have said it. I'm not original in this. Is that we have one mouth and two ears. And I truly believe with all my heart that everybody has something to teach me. And so if I'm not listening to people, I'm not learning how to make a difference. And so that is something that has grounded me for many, many years. Whether it was working with veterans or service members or educators, one of the other areas that I work on is I work in disruptive event management as well. So I go out to corporate sites as well and provide them support. Like if they're doing a mass layoff or they have a reduction in force or they have some, like a lineman gets hung up on a line, there's an explosion at an oil site. I go out and provide that support for the corporate sector as well, helping management navigate those situations, providing support for the employees. So I think when we look and as I'm talking to people, there's challenges across the board, right? Whether it's in your job, whether it's in your home, whether it's in the community, whether it's in the schools. And I think by providing people somebody who will just sit down with them and listen and say, okay, what would solve this for you, right? Like I'm not the problem solver, but I'm here to help you solve the problems, right? So you tell me what's going to work for you. What do you feel like you need? Okay, so let's talk through this, right? What can we do as a state? What can we do as a community? What can we do as a nation?
Well, that's such a great attitude, and I hope that you have good success in your community. Happy to have met you.
Yes,
I think it was kind of a God thing that we connected. Believe it or not, if you have an idea for somebody who ought to be on my show, reach out to us at getalliance.org and say, hey, you ought to have this lady on. We need to share the good news that there are ways to make the world a better place. And we need elected officials that aren't corrupt and are going to listen to people and have values to restrain government and cut back on things. I mean, you're a fiscal conservative, and
yes,
unfortunately, we have a lot of people in Congress who talk like they're going to do stuff, but they just pass these continuing resolutions. So I hope you'll be one of the few in Congress that help stand up and really fight. And friends, it would be a great thing if she can win this district. And I think she'll be a powerful proponent for my program, which gives me a strong endorsement. We're officially nonpartisan, but we vote for the least bad and support the least bad. And I think both parties have contributed to the current government overrun of debt and expense and our society being so addicted to debt. But that's a big problem, and it takes sensible people that listen to all sides to work on a better way. So friends, I hope we'll all get out. If you're in her district, definitely vote for her in the primary. If you're not in her district, give her a donation, because we need this kind of person in Congress. Thank you for being with me. It's been an honor to meet you.
Thank you so much, David. I appreciate the time in our conversation.
You bet.
Thank you.